Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Study with Harshit. Today in this live session, I am share with you chapter first, business communication, means of communication, complete revision in this live session. So stay connected with us. Let's start. Introduction. The term communication has been derived from the Latin word communicare. It means sharing of information, ideas. Communication is the process through which two or more persons come to exchange ideas and understanding among themselves. A definition of communication. Communication is a process of passing information and understanding from one person to another. Characteristics of communication. There are several characteristics of communication. First one is communication involves at least two persons. Second, there must be a message. Third one, communication may be written or oral. Fourth, communication may be formal or informal. Fifth point, communication is a two-way process. Communication is a continuous process. And last point is communication needs a medium. Without medium, communication cannot be done. Process of communication. In the process of communication, first point, sender. Second, message. Third one, encoding. Fourth, channel. Fifth, receiver. Sixth, decoding. Seventh one, feedback. And eighth, noise. Types of noise. There are basically three types of noise. First one is physical noise. Second one, psychological noise. Physiological. These are the three types of noises. Objectives of communication. First one, to facilitate recruitment process. Second, orientation. Third one, to enable employees to perform their functions effectively. And fourth point, to teach employees. Fifth one, free flow of information. Sixth, better decision making. Essential of effective communication. First one, principle of clarity. Second, principle of completeness. Third one, medium of communication. Fourth, principle of timeliness. Next topic is improving communication. First one, orientation of employees. Second, developing proper interpersonal relations. Third one, protective listening. Fourth, using proper language. Fifth one, communication through action and deeds. Sixth, strategic use of grapevine. Seventh one, feedback. Next topic is very important. 7 C's communication, principles of communication. First one is completeness. The communication must be complete. It should convey all facts required by the audience. Second one is conciseness. Conciseness means wordiness. Communication what you want to convey in least possible words. Third one, consideration. Effective communication must take the audience into consideration, that is, the audience view points, background, mindset, education level, etc. Clarity. Clarity. Effective communication use the complete clarity of thoughts and ideas, and hence the meaning of the message means use of appropriate and concrete words. Fifth one is concreteness. Concrete communication implies being particular and clear. Concreteness are not misinterpreted. Sixth, courtesiness. In message implies the message should show the sender expression as well as should respect the receiver. The sender of the message should be sincerely polite, reflective. Seventh one, correctness. Correctness in communication implies that there are no grammatical error in communication. If communication is correct, it boosts up the confidence level. Correct message has generate impact on the audience. Second, next topic, barriers in communication. There are basically 4 types of barriers in communication. First one, semantic barrier. It has 4 subparts. A, badly expressed barrier. B, symbols or words with different meaning. C, faulty translation. D, unclarified assumption. Second one, psychological or emotional barrier. Premature evaluation. B, lack of attention. C, loss by transmission. And D point is distrust. Third one is organizational barrier. First one, organizational policies, and second one is rules and regulations. Fourth one is personal barrier. A, barrier related to superiors. First one, fear of challenge of authority. Second, lack of confidence in subordinates. B, barriers related to subordinates. First one, unwillingness to communicate. Second, lack of proper incentive. If incentive is not proper, it also creates a barrier in communication. Now we discuss in detail. First one is semantic barrier. There is always a possibility of misunderstanding the feelings of the sender of the message or getting a wrong meaning. First one, badly expressed barrier. This barrier is created because of the wrong choice of words, the wrong sequence of sentence, and frequent repetition of these may be called linguistic chance. B. Symbols or word with different meaning. First one, a symbol or a word can have different meaning if the receiver misunderstands the communication, it becomes meaningless. Example, the word value can have different meaning in the following sentence. In everywhere symbols are different meaning. C. Faulty translation. A manager receives much information from his superiors and subordinates, and he translates it for all the employees according to their level of understanding. The information has to be molded. D. Unclarified assumption. It has been observed that same times sometimes a sender takes it for granted that the receiver knows some basic things and it is enough to tell you about the major subject matter. Second one is psychological and emotional barrier. It is depends on the mental condition of both the parties. A mentally disturbed party a hindrance in communication. First one, premature evaluation. Sometimes receiver of information to direct out meaning without much thinking at the time of receiving or even before receiving information which can be wrong. B. Lack of attention. When the receiver is preoccupied with the some important, he and she does not listen to the message attentionfully. C point, loss by transmission. When a message is received by a person after it has passed through many people, it loses some of its truth. D. Distrust. For successful communication, the transmitter and the receiver must trust each other. If there is a lack trust between them, the receiver will always try an opposite meaning from the message. Third one, organizational barrier. Organizational barrier structure greatly affect the capability of the employees as far as the communication is concerned. First point, organizational policies. Organizational policies determine the relationship among all the persons working in the enterprise. Rules and regulations. Organizational rules become barrier in the communication by determining the subject matters, medium, etc. Fourth one is personal barrier. Personal barrier. There are some barriers which are directly connected with the sender and the receiver. They are called personal barrier. They have been divided into two parts. First one, fear of challenge of authority. Everybody desires to occupy a high office in organization. In this hope, the officer tried to their weakness, hide, and by not communicating their ideas. Second point, top level superiors thinks that lower level employees are less capable and therefore they ignore the information or suggestions sent by them. They ignore the communication from their subordinates in order to increase their own importance. B point B1. Sometimes subordinates do not want to send any information to their superiors when the subordinate feel that the information is of negative nature and will affect them and effort is made to conceal that information. Next, lack of incentive. Lack of incentive to the subordinate creates a hindrance in communication. The lack of incentive to the subordinate is because of the fact that their suggestions or ideas are not given any importance. Types of communication. There are basically three types of communication. First one, on the basis of organizational structure. Second, on the basis of direction. Third one, on the basis of way of expression. First one, on the basis of organizational structure. In organization, communication can be formal and informal. Second, on the basis of direction. First one, vertical, downward and upward, horizontal, diagonal. Third one, on the basis of way of expression. It may be oral communication, gesture communication, written communication. First one, formal communication. The communication flows through formal channel, that is, officially recognized position along the line in the organization. It can be oral. Most organizations keep written records of formal oral communication, that is, copies of speech, minutes of meetings. B. Informal communication. Informal communication is also known as the grapevine. It's not a plant created channel of communication. It is a free from all the formalities. It runs in all directions. First one, vertical, horizontal, diagonal. It flows around vertical through lunchroom and whatever people get together in groups. Next, upward communication. Upward and downward flow of message constitutes vertical communication. Information is transmitted from top management to the employees working in the organization. Now we understand this one through this diagram. In this diagram, top level managing director, divisional manager, departmental head, middle level executive, lower level executive, operative employees. Upward communication and downward communication. In downward communication, order. And it may be their message and feedback. Downward communication. Downward communication moves from top to bottom, that is, from the CEO downwards. It travels through senior executive to junior level functional, from the controlling office to the branch, from the head of the division to the head of the unit. Downward communication may be written or oral. First one, in written communication, written downward communication. It may be written and oral. Written instruction. Second, letters, handbooks, pamphlets, policies, statement, procedures. In oral, first one, instructions. Second, speech. Third one, meetings. Fourth, telephone. Fifth, loudspeaker. Merits of downward communication. First one, help to explain to the subordinate the organizational plans, policies, programs, procedure, and other necessary information for performing the job. Second point is help to convey to the subordinates the expectation of management from them. Demerits of downward communication. First one, delay in transmission. Second one is overload or unload message. Third one, loss of information. Upward communication. Upward communication is just the reverse of the downward communication. It flows upward from a subordinate to the superior through middle manageable level along the line. Merits of upward communication. First one, create insight into behavior problem. Second, create confidence and trust. Third one, enhance learning and excellence. Demerits of upward communication. First one, bypassing, poor listening, hesitations of employees. Horizontal communication. This type of communication refers to communication between various departments or units representing the same level or people within the same or different department without having a superior or subordinate relationship. It flows between persons at the same hierarchical level. First, now we discuss in diagram. Managing director, divisional manager in steel company, divisional manager in cement company. Department head, production, and same level department head in production. Department head finance, and also department head in finance in cement company. Here DH stands for department head. Merits of horizontal communication. It helps in coordinating the activities of different at the same level. Second point is different departmental heads may sit together and trace out problems of wastage of time, money, labor, and material. Demerits of horizontal communication. First one, lack of motivation. Second, rivalry among people. Diagonal communication. This includes the horizontal flow of information as also that among people, person at different levels who have not direct reporting relationship. This kind of communication is used to speed information flow, to improve understanding and coordinate efforts for the achievement of the organization objective. First one oral and second one in written. In oral communication, informal meeting, formal conference, and third one task team. In written communication, first one company newspaper or magazines, second bulletin board, third general notice. Merits of diagonal communication. It is a direct method to communicate diagonal easily. It is a very selective method by the company. It is a faster communication of information in both directions. It enables better coordination among departments. Demerits of diagonal communication. First one, it is bypass the chain of reporting relationship. Second, it develops a psychological resistance toward implementing decisions arising out of a diagonal communication because he has not been allowed to participate in the consultation. Ways of expression. First one, written communication. Written communication by means of written symbols, it is an informative activity of the mind. It is essential for preparing emotional material for business development. Second, oral communication. It occurs through the spoken word in oral communication and involve two parties, sender and the receiver, exchange their views through speech either in face-to-face communication between individual or between an individual and the group. Third one, gesture communication. Gesture communication, expression through body parts is known as gesture communication. Successful communicator make a very effective use of facial expression or gesture expressions. Now next topic is merits of gesture communication. Facial movement and gesture are a valuable addition to the communication process. Second, relationship and trust are established through mutual understood gesture. Demerits of gesture communication. First one, a speaker can lose track on the topic if he focuses more of the gesture element in the speech. Second, gesture seen as positive in one culture may be seen as absent in another culture. Communication models. These are the models of communication. There are total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 models of communication. Discuss first one. Aristotle model is a great philosopher in earlier mass communication model called Aristotle model of communication. This model is a speaker-centered model, as the speaker has the most important role in it and is the only one active. It is a speaker role to deliver speech to the audience. The role of audience is passive, influenced by the speech. Example, a politician give a speech, get voted from public. Diagram. First one, speaker, occasion, speech, audience, effect. Channel theory. In 20 AD, Laswell worked on Aristotle verbal model and concludes with more evaluate model. In this model, who refers to the communicator who formulates the message channel, indicates the medium of transmission, and who describes either an individual recipient or the audience of the mass communication. Effect is the outcome of a message. First one, who, communicator. Second, say what, message. Medium, in which channel. Fourth, to whom. And fifth one, with what effect, feedback. Advantages, it is easy and simple. Second, it's suited for almost all types of communication. Disadvantage, feedback and noise are not mentioned. Second, model is linear. Third one, SMR model. In SMR model, here is the diagram. SMCR. Source, M stands for message, C stands for channel, R receiver. First, S, communication skill, attitude, social system, culture, knowledge. Here M, message, content, element, treatment, structure, code. Channel, seen, hearing, touching, smelling, taste. R, receiver, communication skill, attitudes, knowledge, social system, and culture. This is the chart of SMCR model. Now move on to next. Information theory. American mathematician gave a mechanical approach of communication in 1948. This model is especially designed to develop the effective communication between sender and the receiver. Also, they find the factor which affecting the communication process called noise. Source, transmitter, message, channel, here signals, signal, receiver, decoder, and message. Here is the noise present in the channel. Next one, interactive model. It was one of the first researcher modifying the technological and mathematical communication model in 1954. It is two-way process where both sender and receiver take turn to send a receive a message. It is also known as OSGOOD and circular model. Here is the diagram of this: encoder, interpreter, decoder, message, decoder, interpreter, encoder, and message. White's model. White model focuses on the 8 stages or oral communication which are shown in figure. Here, first one, thinking. Second, symbolizing. Third, expression. Fourth, transmitting, receiving, decoding, feedback, and monitoring. These are the 8 points in white model. Hierarchical model. Hierarchy of communication, which was proposed by Frank Dance in 1967. The process of communication evolves from the very first of the individual and continues till the existing moment. All living entities start communication from the very first day of their origin. The message to grant that they need to be watered daily and should be treated well with the fertilizers and manual. First, here is the diagram of child communication evolves. Day 1, communication continuous. Communication depend on past activity. Current day communication continuous with modification. Next one is Murphy's model. Murphy model of communication process is in fact profound by three written writers. First one, H. A. Murphy, H. W. and J. P. Thomas. According to this model, there are 6 components of communication process. Here is the diagram. Sender, encoder, message, medium, receiver, idea, encoding, feedback, symbol, decision, encoding, idea, skills, attitude, expression. First one, context. Every message, whether oral or written, begin with context. Second, sender or encoder. Use symbols, usually words that express the message and create a desired response. Third one, message. The message is the core idea. The sender wishes to communicate it consists both verbal and non-verbal. Fourth, medium. The medium is the channel through which a message is communicated. It can be printed, word, electronic, sound, or gesture. Fifth one, receiver. Decoder. The receiver and the listener is the person who receives the message and decode it. Feedback. It can be oral or written. It can be an active action such as receiving in the main and the item you order. Next one is Trill and Oval model. Trill developed the following model of communication is more than a single act. It is a chain of events consisting of 5 phases linking sender and the receiver. Here is the diagram. Idea, sender. Message, physical transmission, feedback. Here is the receiver. Now we discuss in detail. First one is idea. In the process of considering a idea about the real world, the sender leaves out many things and assume many others. Second, idea become message. The idea in the sender mind is transferred into words and thus become a message. Third one, message is transmitted. In this step, the communication process is physical transmission of the message from the sender to receiver. It can be a verbal or non-verbal. Fourth one, a receiver gets a message. If the sender send a letter to the receiver has to read it before understanding it, the store the message mentally. Receiver send feedback. Receiver send feedback. The receiver react and send feedback to the sender. It enables the sender to evaluate the effectiveness of the message. I hope you understand. Unit first is completed. In our next upcoming live session, we start Unit 2. I hope you like this live. Please thumbs up and stay connected. Subscribe our channel. Thank you so much for watching this video live session. Thank you so much.